It's Over Opinionated.
Hello everyone, thank you for tuning in to Over Opinionated. Before we start our episode, I just want to thank you guys. If you like this podcast, please give it a like and a share it to word of mouth. You could really help us out by following us on our social medias. On X, formerly known as Twitter, we are at Over with a capital O, Over Opinionated, with the second I is the number 1. You can also follow me on Twitter at NRV_guy. You can follow me on TikTok at Over Opinionated, and you can follow me on Facebook with Over Opinionated. If you would like and you feel led to give to this show, you can also contribute to us at Patreon at www.patreon.com/overopinionated679, and there is a slash, and you can give to us for as little as $1. And that would help the show grow. It would help me put into the show more financially. And we promise every time before we make a withdrawal, we give 10% to a pro-life charity to help save the lives of the unborn. But beyond all that, please just give us a prayer. And thank you so much. God bless you. And now let's get to your show. Welcome back, everyone, to Over Opinionated. We got a little bit to talk to today. Donald Trump wins New Hampshire on Tuesday, overwhelmingly. And we're going to go through the numbers a little bit. I'm reading the Guardian stats right now. We'll start with the Democrat primary, which didn't matter too much because the DNC isn't going to recognize it. Some Democrats organized a Joe Biden write-in, which he took overwhelmingly with almost 64% of the vote. Representative Dean Phillips took 19.6%, and Marianne Williamson took 4% of the vote. And, the reason they had a write-in is because a lot of Democrats were like, man, this is going to get really embarrassing if the president doesn't win, an incumbent president doesn't win New Hampshire. But Biden decided he didn't want to go to New Hampshire, at least not this go-around, and that they were going to recognize South Carolina as the first official primary for the Democrats. So none of these votes count, and none of them are going to count toward the nomination process with the delegates. He got 79,000 votes. Now let's go to the Republican side. Ryan Binkley got 315 votes. He's barely in the race. He is a financial hawk. He's a pastor. And I got nothing against him, but he's not important when it comes to the overall race. And I know that sounds harsh, but it's a little bit true. So we have Nikki Haley coming in second place with 43.2%, getting 9 delegates with 140,000 votes, and Donald Trump with 54% of the vote with 167,000 votes. So he beat her by 11 points. It's not even close. And this was Nikki Haley's best chance to win a state, okay? Because New Hampshire is a moderate state. It's a libertarian-leaning state. It was her best chance to win. And, had more of an establishment candidate, and it's supposed to be more establishment friendly. And not only that, but independents, it's an open primary. Independents could have voted for Nikki Haley, and Democrats could have voted for her too. But Republicans just pushed the former president, Donald Trump, way over the 50% mark. And I've heard people say, well, Trump should be getting better than this. He's only getting 54%, and he's basically an incumbent. Listen, I know Trump is running kind of as an incumbent, but he is a former president. He's not the actual incumbent. But yeah, he is running as basically an incumbent. I get that. But with all the media um, hitting Trump as hard as they could, and hitting him with these allegations, with these courts, with states taking him off the ballot in the blue states, and with the media for the last 3 years calling him an insurrectionist and a traitor, that hurts. And especially in a state that's center left in New Hampshire, and he still won. I mean, he didn't just win; he mopped up the floor with her. I mean, this is about 11 points. And the media goes on and they just cry. They are so terrified, and they will take a little clip of what Trump has said here or there, and they will blow it all the way out of proportion. They basically lie. I mean, I honestly, what they do is, they might not call it lying, but they stretch the truth as far as they can without breaking it, and sometimes they break it, and I think they're just liars. And I can't stand the left-wing media. And listen, there's people that lie on the right-wing media. I think Tucker Carlson, as talented as he is, and I agree with his viewpoints, I think he lied about the 2020 election, okay? But these guys are just lying to you. They're fear-mongering to you. That's all they're doing. The mainstream media, the main left-stream media, is a bunch of liars that is designed to hurt the conservative and Republican cause, because they present themselves, sometimes they present themselves as moderate, they present themselves as the truth tellers, and, go after the facts, and, keep the man accountable. And unless it's a Democrat, then we will do everything we can to, oh, Joe Biden said this, that's stupid. Oh, we'll clean this mess up here. Oh, we'll clean this mess up here. At least be consistent. Okay, I'm open. I'm a conservative. This is opinion show. The name of the show is Over Opinionated, and in the biography, it says that I'm an open conservative. But I have repeatedly criticized Donald Trump on this show, and I will continue to do that. Even if I support him, and I do. From now on, in 2024, I'm a Trump supporter. But that doesn't mean he can go and say anything I don't like. I criticized what he said about abortion, saying that we should only save babies after 15 weeks. I think we should save babies until the moment of conception. I'm a crazy guy that believes all human beings, regardless if they've been born or if they haven't been born, deserve human rights. Okay, but these media guys they'll take a clip of Trump saying something stupid, and let's be real, Trump says a lot of stupid things. I like the guy, but he does say stupid things, and he also posts stupid things that I wished he wouldn't. But they'll take that and they'll run a mile with it, and they'll lie to people. They just straight up lie to you. And it really gets on my nerves, and they know that that's not what he is saying, but they don't care. It serves their liberal agenda, and they want Biden to win the White House again. That's all it is. And also, not only that, they might say they hate Trump, but they love Trump, because their ratings go through the roof when Donald Trump is in the news or is in presidency. So I'm going to give you just a few little clips of what the media is saying and how they're crying and belly aching right now, okay? I'm going to give you a few clips. And listen, this is all some people listen to. Some people on the left, or some people that are casual viewers of the news, get this and they go, oh my gosh, Trump is evil. Trump is a dictator. And they get these clips. They don't go to right-wing media, okay? And listen, if you're a right-wing person, if you're a conservative person, you need to check out left-wing media too, so you're not inside an echo chamber all the time. I regularly go check out Morning Joe and see what Joe Scarborough is yelling about, even though I think he is crazy. A lot of the stuff he says is crazy. I regularly go to Young Turks. Now, I might not watch a whole show, but I get their general idea. I regularly do this. You need to do that too. And A lot of people on the left, they don't do it. They don't watch Fox News. They don't watch Ben Shapiro. All they do is watch Morning Joe or the Young Turks or Rachel Maddow or whoever. And listen, a lot of people on the right do that too, okay? You need to see what both sides are saying. I'm going to play you a few clips of the media just melting down about Trump's victory. And before I show you the clip, Trump made a statement that was really stupid, I think about a month ago, that said, on day one, I will be a dictator. I'm going to deport all the illegal aliens. I'm going to fire a lot of people in the deep state. But he said only for one day. Okay? He said only for one day I'll be a dictator. He shouldn't have said it. It was stupid. It was a bad soundbite, and the media took it and ran with it. Now, what he's saying is he's going to clean house and restore order for one day, and one day only. What they take that is, and everyone in the left media now are saying that Trump is promising to be a dictator. They leave out on day one and day one only when he said that. But, and we're going to see that here. We have a commentator talking to Rachel Maddow the night of the New Hampshire primary. So here's a clip of Michael Beslauch, very hard name for me to say, a presidential historian, the night Trump won, talking to Rachel Maddow on MSNBC.
Not someone who has had this cornucopia of forthcoming trials and indictments. Someone who has promised, just as you've said, Rachel, to suspend the Constitution and institute essentially a presidential dictatorship if he's elected. That's not going to be necessarily a great vote getter in a fall presidential election. And the other thing is that, this is not someone who's exactly the most self-disciplined candidate the Republicans could have for the presidency. Look at the way he's been talking during the last week. He's not in control of what he says. He confuses Nancy Pelosi with Nikki Haley.
All right, we'll stop it right there. And yeah, Trump did get his words mixed up and mixed up Nikki Haley with Nancy Pelosi. Guess who does that every single time he speaks? Joe Biden. The difference is Trump knows what he's talking about. He made a mistake. Who doesn't on the regular basis? But you clean up for his messes. It's okay. He's my favorite kid. It's okay if he does it. But if little Johnny messes up over there, so stupid. Trump has said some dumb things. But listen, he's been president before. Was he dictator before? No. What they are banking all their cards on, they're making that a bank shot, is January 6th. They have took something, January 6th, which was an awful moment in American history, and they have stretched it as far as they could, as far as they can. They have stretched January 6th. And guess what? They say Trump is an insurrectionist. He shouldn't be able to run for office. Number one, Trump didn't call for an insurrection. He called for people to peacefully protest. You can go back and look at the march. At the speech before the march, quote unquote, on Washington went too far. This was a protest that went too far. I knew people at the Stop the Steal rally. I disagreed with their premise that Trump lost the election, that Trump's election was stolen and he didn't lose it. I disagreed with that premise, but they had the right to go there, and they were not insurrectionists. Now, I'm talking about the people that didn't go inside the Capitol. They just wanted to have their voices heard, okay? But the people that went too far, they got too mad, went too far. It was a protest that went out of hand. We saw that continuously in 2020 at with the Black Lives Matter movement. But if I said that someone that was peacefully protesting for Black Lives Matter, if I called them something, if I called them a rioter, then I got condemned. You got condemned. Conservatives got condemned. And they were peaceful BLM supporters that went out and protest in 2020 that had every right to do so. And then there were people that went way too far and became a riot. That's the same thing. I understand that it happened at an awful time when we were certifying our election. But listen, this is not completely unique to American history. We saw this happen with Democrats going inside the state capital of Wisconsin. We saw this. They were standing in the way, trying to get legislators to vote a certain way. It was a teacher ran union, I believe, and maybe I'm wrong on that, but I noted it was a Democrat thing that led those protesters to stay in the State House. That is very similar. Now, there's awful footage on January 6th, and I condemn all of it. It was awful. Anyone that broke the law by trespassing should get in trouble. And they are getting in trouble. But to say that Trump incited a violent insurrection when he said, go peacefully, okay? Anyone can say that they have misconstrued your words to go and do a violent act. If I say, I hate Democrats, and someone goes and punches a Democrat and says, I listen to Over Opinionated, does that mean I am at fault? No. No, it doesn't. I didn't tell that listener to go hit a Democrat. I was saying I don't like Democrats. Okay? And yeah, I believe we should love everyone, including Democrats. I'm just giving an example. Words are important. And Trump did say fight like hell. That's metaphorical. People use that words all the time. You go to a football practice, give them hell, boys. Raise some hell. You know, he doesn't mean literally destroyed a Capitol building. But that isn't what they are banking on. That Trump is evil. He's going to be a dictator. He's going to destroy democracy. So we have to protect democracy by taking him off the ballot. Because that's the most democratic thing to do. Is we're going to misread the 14th Amendment. And the 14th Amendment does say if you attempted a insurrection against the United States of America, that you can't run for federal office. Trump never attempted an insurrection. Not one time. He was at a protest, and he told them to peacefully protest. Some, not all, of those protesters went too far and went into the Capitol and trespassed on the Capitol grounds. I'm not underplaying that when I say that. It was horrible. It was bad. It was disgusting. When I think about it, it makes me cringe. It makes me feel awful. I hate it. What happened? It made the Republican Party look bad, and I condemned it the day it happened, and I condemn it now. That doesn't mean that Trump is an insurrectionist. It doesn't. But the media are going to go off. They're going to go crazy. I'm going to find you a couple more clips of people just losing their mind of Donald Trump. And this is how they're going to paint Trump throughout this election. If you vote for Trump, you're voting for an insurrectionist, a election denier, this denier, a homophobe, a racist, thisophobe, thatophobe, everything's a phobe, everything's an ism. And he's an evil, awful dictator, and it'll be the death of democracy if you vote for him. It'll be just like voting to give power to Palpatine in Star Wars when he became the Emperor. You're just destroying democracy to that degree that it will never exist again within the United States of America, even though we have provisions in the constitutions and we have checks and balances. And guess what? If it was an insurrection the first time, it didn't freaking work, and it won't work again because we have the world's strongest military in the history of humanity. And we have the Constitution that will prevent Trump from ever becoming a dictator because we have the check and balances of the Supreme Court and we have a legislature as well. Oh, but guess what? The Supreme Court is stacked with evil Trump justices. Oh, shut up. So if Trump wins the White House in 2 more years, go and vote for Democrats to have the legislature and handicap them. I mean, really, if Trump wins the White House, we only got 2 years of stuff we can do, because the next year, the next election cycle, not the next year, the next election cycle, we're probably going to get the feet cut from under us like we did last time and get Democrats in office. That's normally what happens throughout, like, all history. Okay? That's normally what happens. It's like, if you want to make an argument for why Trump shouldn't be a president, making the argument that he is awful for democracy and he will destroy American democracy is not one that I buy. There is some that you could make real strong arguments for. This is not one of them, because he was already president. He was not a dictator. He said mean things that hurt your little feelings on Twitter. It's so sad. Mean, evil orange man called me fat. And listen, Trump says some mean things, but Trump is a bully in a lot of times, and I don't like that. But guess what? The left is too. And Trump gets things done that are good for this country. He appointed Supreme Court justices that overturned Roe v. Wade. Some people might not like that, and I know they don't, because they want to kill their babies. Oh gosh, you can't. Yeah, I can. I can say that, and I will say that. And you can take this podcast down, and I will still say it. I will say it until I am 6 feet in the ground, that abortion kills babies. It's not even that. Look at the economy. You know, it used to be that saying, it's the economy, stupid. And, you know, MSNBC can run this statistic and say, oh, look, well, inflation has slowed and it's actually on the upper curve. Or, look at this, you know, Biden's added more jobs here than any other president. And yada, 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 yada. Because they're skewing it with COVID numbers, number one. Number two, do these people with suits and ties and PhDs, and if you have a suit and tie and a PhD, I'm not making fun of you, that's awesome. I have a suit and a tie, I don't have a PhD. But do these people with suits, ties, and PhDs that look into a camera and almost lie to people, and sometimes lie to people, do they ever go to the grocery store? Or do they have people buy their groceries and put it up for them? I was at a store the other day. We bought one thing of dog food in 2 bags. And it cost $120 for 2 bags and a bag of dog food. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. We are getting less for what we pay for. And I try, me and my wife actually try really hard to save money at the grocery store. We don't even go to grocery stores anymore, not real grocery stores. And I normally don't use company names because I don't like to promote companies if they're not going to be a sponsor of the show. And listen, I know I'm a small show and I don't have any sponsors, but that's okay. I don't like promoting companies in general, because I don't get any gain from it. But I'll tell you this: we've been going to some dollar stores, and at first we were going to Dollar General, and we started saving money. We get all our cans, foods like green beans, anything, green beans, corn, peas, stuff like that, cereal. We get everything we could at Dollar General. Then we would go to our big grocery store and get our produce and get our meat. And that saved us quite a bit of money every week. But then we started going to Family Dollar, which is also a different dollar store. And we saved even more money, because Family Dollar is a lot cheaper on a lot of their things than Dollar General is. But some people don't have Family Dollars, they just have Dollar General or vice versa. And we also buy the name brand. We don't buy the name brand. The vast majority of the time we're buying the store brand. So instead of getting a can of green beans for $1.20, we'll get them for 92 cents or something like that. Some stuff you gotta buy in the name brand. But that's what we're doing, guys, to save some money. Because if we go to our main grocery store, it costs a lot more and we get less. So we go to the dollar store. And then for, we do get our produce and our fruits and vegetables and our meat at the grocery store. But and a lot of Americans are like that right now. How in the world can we afford to vote for Joe Biden? Middle class America and then low income America, you're going to get pissed off at them for voting for Trump or voting for a different candidate than Biden. We can't afford this. We are struggling to make it. At least that's how a lot of Americans feel. And even if it's not Joe Biden's fault, guess what? America is starting to think it is. And I don't think it's all Joe Biden's fault, but he's not helping any. He's not. Alright, I'm going to play you a little clip from Morning Joe with Joe Scarborough on MSNBC. And this is why Trump calls them MSNBC. Instead of calling them MSNBC, he calls them MSDNC for Democratic National Committee. And it's so true. So we see Joe Scarborough going on a rant and just stretching the truth as far as he can without becoming a liar. And I think he probably becomes a liar when he stretches it that much. Let's hear what he's going to say, then we'll back it up and we'll listen to what Trump said eventually. Then we'll go on and get to a little bit more news. Listen to this.
Talking about poisoning of the blood of this country. It's getting more explicit. And the fact that fools that are covering the horse race would somehow attack writers, journalists, for recording this and putting it to the readers without an explanation. Oh, but he also is talking about economics that they related to. Seems to somehow talk about miss the much bigger point that we're in the fight for American democracy, and he's becoming more and more explicit on how he wants to take American democracy down.
He wants to, he wants to take American democracy down. We're in a fight. He sounds like Adolf Hitler. Oh, now I wish Trump would have used different words and saying vermin or saying we're polluting the blood of America. Yeah, I mean, that's not good language, okay? Because then they're going to say you're a Nazi, when you're not. But we have a horrible border problem that we didn't have when Trump was in office. Joe Biden just letting everyone over the border, just about. We have the Biden administration suing the state of Texas because the state of Texas is like, if you're not going to do it, we're going to try to do it and protect our own border, which is a big fight on its own. So stupid. We'll go back and listen to what Trump said. Tell me, does he sound like a Nazi? Or is he concerned that there's a lot of people coming across the border? And guess what? There's a lot of people coming across the border. I'm not saying that doesn't mean these people are bad. The majority of them are good, but they're hurting our country. We're not getting a lot of the tax revenue when they're working under the table. We're not getting a lot of that tax revenue, and guess what? We have to have more resources for more people, and I want people to come here. I want people to come here. I just want them to come here legally, so we know who is coming here. Alright, let's listen to what Trump said and tell me, does he sound like an evil man trying to destroy our democracy? Because that's all they got. Trump's trying to destroy democracy. Let's listen to what Trump said a month ago.
Hostages. We got a lot of work to do. When they let, I think the real number is 15, 16 million people into our country, when they do that, we got a lot of work to do. They're poisoning the blood of our country. The crime is going to be tremendous. The terrorism is going to be, and we built a tremendous piece of the wall, and then we're going to build more. And
is that so bad, guys? I didn't get to the clip. He did say they're polluting and stuff. I understand that, but come on. Yeah, that's so awful. What Trump said in that clip, and if you want to go back to the original clip, you can. I encourage you to. Come on, folks. This is what people do. They listen to MSNBC, they listen to CNN, they listen to ABC. They don't get outside their echo chamber, and when you don't get outside your echo chamber, Trump is an evil, awful, racist, Nazi, election denier. I mean, all the isms. And it's just a fantasy land. It's a fantasy land. All right, and a little other clips. Nikki Haley is refusing to step down, and she's going to continue to run, even though she came in third in Iowa and came in second and lost by 11 points in New Hampshire, which was her best state. Let's listen and hear some of what she has to say. The only thing I can think is she's hoping that something will happen between now and Super Tuesday that will make Trump look so bad that people will go vote for her. She's making herself look bad, and guess what? She's losing by like 30 points in South Carolina, her home state. Both the incumbent senators in South Carolina support Trump, and this doesn't look good for her. Okay, I don't know what she's doing, but if you want to run for president in the future, Nikki, you better drop out. Everyone's getting behind Trump, and all you're doing now is embarrassing yourself. All right, let's get to a few of their comments on that. This is right after she lost the primary, came in second in New Hampshire, and we'll see a couple more things. This is Nikki Haley.
Race is far from over. There are dozens of states left to go.
Maybe you think it's far from over, but I mean, Nikki, you lost by 11 points in your best state. I mean, I don't think it's far. I don't think it's far from over. I think it is basically over. You're not going to win. You're not going to. Here are a few more comments from her. Here's a clip from a campaign rally in South Carolina.
He pitched a fit. He was insulting. He was doing what he does, but I know that's what he does when he's insecure. I know that's what he does when he is threatened, and he should feel threatened, without a doubt.
Why should he feel threatened? He beat you by 11 points. You're just saying crap now. Just so stupid. She is so insufferable. I cannot wait till Trump just beats the crap out of her in South Carolina and Super Tuesday. Oh, let's keep going.
It also goes back to why I've continued to push for mental competency tests for anyone over the age of 75.
Trump is mentally competent. He might say a few things. He might have a couple moments. Joe Biden is all moments. I mean, and then we're just going to throw out the ageism and just, oh, Trump is old, so he needs a competency test. And you know what? Let's let the American people decide. I say Joe Biden's not very competent, but Trump is. Why do we need this kind of crap? Here, let's keep going.
And so he got upset, and he said that he would take one, and he'd challenge me to one, and that he would beat me. Maybe he would, maybe he wouldn't. But what I said is, okay, well, if that's the case, then get on a debate stage and let's go.
Why should he debate you? He beat you by 11 points in your best state. You came in third in the Iowa caucuses. It's over, Nikki. It's over. He doesn't got to debate you. It's over. Why are you running this campaign? All this manure coming out of your mouth. Well, let's keep going. Running for the establishment. Keep on running for the Warhawks. Keep on keeping on, I guess. And we'll just kick your butt at the polls.
Bring it, Donald. Show me what you...
He beat you by 11!
So why?
What, Trump? Show me what you got. Bring it. He beat you by 11 in your best state! It's so freaking stupid. He beat you by 11 points, Nikki Haley. This is like the scene in a movie where the guy's like, get up, and he's just totally beat up, and he keeps getting up, and he gets slapped back down again, except in the movies, that guy eventually beats the bully. She ain't beating Trump. He's just going to keep whacking her and whacking her and whacking her with his orange toupee, whacking her into the ground. That's all that's going to happen. It's so stupid. So stupid. Politics can be so stupid. Alright, everyone, I'm going to read you a story, and this is partially why this presidential election is so important. This is from The Guardian. U.S. Supreme Court allows Border Patrol to cut razor wire installed by Texas. Justices granted emergency appeal from the Biden administration in a 5-4 vote, while lawsuit over the wire on the U.S. border continues. The Biden administration is allowed to cut the razor wire deployed by Texas at the border with Mexico. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled on Monday the continued wire displayed at the direction of the Republican Texas Governor Greg Abbott runs through 30 miles along the Rio Grande River near the border city of Eagle Pass. It is a part of Abbott's border fight with the Biden administration over immigration enforcement and what he calls Biden's reckless open border policies. He has also become a symbol of America's broader political fight over the control of the nation's border, with many Republicans hailing it as tough but necessary policy, but many Democrats declaring it as inhumane and cruel. Border security and immigration officials fall under the purview of the federal government, as decided in the 2012 Supreme Court case Arizona versus United States. The court held that the federal immigration law, Arizona's law, and the narrow 5-4 decision, the Supreme Court has now granted an emergency appeal from the Biden administration. The ruling now means the Lone Star State must comply with the Biden administration and allow federal authorities access to the border, contrary to recent actions taken by the state. Texas officials argued that the federal agents cut the wire to help groups cross illegally through the river before taking them in for processing. A federal appeals court last month forced federal agents to stop cutting the wire. Texas officials earlier this month refused an order from the Biden administration to allow U.S. Border Patrol agents access to the part of the U.S.-Mexican border that is now under state control. Last week, Texas's Attorney General Ken Paxton rejected orders of the state to stop controlling Shelby Park, a public park and entry point into the United States. Number of migrants at Eagle Pass in recent months. We are not allowing Border Patrol on that property anymore. We're not going to let it happen anymore, Abbott said this time. The refusal to obey federal orders cost lives. The Department of Homeland Security said the agency reported 3 migrants, 2 of whom were 2 children, drowned near the park. Federal authorities were restricted from entering. In addition to road, Abbott also authorized installing floating barriers in the Rio Grande near Eagle Pass. The allowed state troopers to arrest and jail thousands of people subjugated of migration illegally and trespass charges, taken under the Operation Lone Star, a joint effort between Texas's Department of Public Safety and Texas Military Department that began in 2021 to curb illegal immigration. The Biden administration also challenges actions in federal court. In court papers, the administration said the fencing further restricts Border Patrol's ability to reach the river in particular areas. Chief Justice John Roberts and Justice Amy Coney Barrett Natal Brown Jackson and Ellen Kagan and Sonia Sotomayor sided with the administration. So we have one Trump justice, Amy Coney Barrett, and then we have another conservative justice, Chief Justice Roberts, siding with the administration. Justice Alito, Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Clarence Thomas voted with Texas. No explanation for their vote was provided by any of the justices. So, I mean, yeah, I don't have a big opinion on who is right legally in this matter, but this should not be a matter to begin with, because the Biden administration has a job to protect the border. I know Democrats like open borders, and they say they don't, but they do. Why are you cutting wire? I mean, I understand it's awful when someone passes away trying to get to the United States, drowning in a river or anywhere like that. You need to discourage them from coming, that they don't die when they come over. Okay? This administration has been awful. They're just letting anyone in. Anybody gets to come in. So this is a big reason why we go into presidency. All right, everyone, listen. March 5th in the state of Virginia, Super Tuesday. Go out and vote, and I'd suggest you vote for Donald Trump. We're going to be back. We will be back. We'll be back soon. I'll give you the Bible verse of the day, and we will head out, and I will see y'all later after the Bible verse of the day. All right, everyone, we have the Bible verse of the day from the New International Version. It is 1 Timothy chapter 2, starting in verse 1 and going to verse 6. I urge you then, first of all, that petitions, prayers, intercessions, and thanksgiving be made for all people, for the kings of all those in authority, that we may live peacefully and quiet lives in all godliness and holiness. This is good and pleasing to our God, our Savior, who wants all people to be saved and come to a knowledge of the truth. For there is one God and one mediator between God and man, that the man Christ Jesus, who gave himself as ransom for all people. This has now been witnessed to at the proper time. I encourage everyone to go read 1 Timothy chapter 2, verses 1 through 6, because I think I misread it a little bit. Let's go through verse by verse. I urge then, first of all, that petitions, prayer, intercessions, and thanksgiving be made by all people. It means everyone should pray and give petitions of intercessions and thanksgiving. You give thanks and pray. 2, for the kings and all of those in authority, that may live peacefully and quiet lives in all godliness and holiness. Pray for those in authority, even people you don't like. Yes, even Joe Biden. And pray that they may live quiet lives in godliness and holiness, and ourselves. Verse 3, this is good and pleases our God, our Savior. It makes God happy. Verse 3. Verse 4, who wants all people to be saved and come to a knowledge of the truth. Oh man, this is where we open the can of worms, and Calvinism versus Arminianism. I don't really got time for it today. I'll just be honest with you. I'm an Arminian. I think this means God wants everyone to go to heaven. If you disagree with me, you can disagree with me. I will do an episode on Calvinism one day. The difference between how Arminians see it, when we see all people, when we see the world, Arminians mean the entire literal world, people, everyone born after Christ's sacrifice, that God loved them and loved them so much He died for them and gave His only begotten Son for them, that they may believe in Him and be saved. I think quoted exactly the same, but pretty close. That's John 3:16. I believe it's everyone. Calvinists believe it is every type of people throughout the world. Okay, this is And I'm not trying to straw man, okay? I'm not. I love Calvinists and my brothers and sisters in Christ. I disagree with them. If I'm wrong, let me know. Okay, verse 5. For there is one God and one mediator between God and mankind, the man Christ Jesus, who gave himself as a ransom for all people. This has now been witnessed to at the proper time. Alright, everyone, that's your verse of today. Thank y'all so much. I hope to see y'all back soon, and hopefully we get a spiritual special the next episode as we talk about how to deal with death as a Christian. God bless you, and we'll see you back at Over Opinionated.